Hello, welcome to another episode of Sincerely Agile with Mary. My name is Mary Laniyan, and today we're looking at professional traction as an immigrant. I am, however, still waiting for my guest. So I'm hoping that she will join me shortly because I can see she's on LinkedIn, but she hasn't actually joined me. Okay, there she is. There she is. Hello, Eno. I'm just going to bring you to this screen. Hello,
All
how
right.
are you?
Hi.
You're
I'm
right.
so sorry I joined just at the time we're supposed to go live. I know we're supposed to come in and do a technical check.
That's okay. These things do happen.
Yeah, I had my
Um,
own
ha-
challenges, but I'm here.
these things do happen. Do you want to bring your chairs down just a little bit so we're sort of, you're,
Oh, you can't see me?
we can see, well, I can see you, but you're a bit too high.
Okay. All right.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
That
perfect.
that's yeah. If you can just bring your chair down a little bit, yeah, that's
I
better.
think this is the
That's okay. That's
it's a
okay.
new chair. So
As
I
long as we
think
can see you, that's fine, and you're here. That's what's important. So it is great to have you here.
yeah, good
I can.
morning from here.
It is good evening from here. Good evening from here, and it is great to have you
Thank
on
you.
Sincerely Agile with Mary. And we have a few people joining us already. Hello, Ronke. Hello, Victoria.
Hi.
Yeah. Right. Eno, we're looking at professional traction as an immigrant. Oops, I've just lost her. These are some of the challenges you have when you go live. But trust me, I prefer to go live because when you do a recording session, then you have to keep editing it, and I haven't got the time to do that. Yeah, it's good to have you back. So let's hope we'll have fewer technical challenges. So I
Uh-huh.
was just going to say, today I don't feel too great because of what is happening, obviously, around the world
Yeah,
today, Ukraine. I really don't understand why anybody would want to be going to war in 2022. It's not at all progressive, but
exactly.
such is life, isn't it? It's sort of dampened my mood a little bit. It
Yeah,
did.
I
But how
understand
are
that.
you doing, though? How are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm well. I've been saddened by everything happening as well. I just
Mm,
also posted on my social media pages that we should just continue to pray,
mhm.
at this point because, seeing our brothers and sisters going through this, civilians killed for something they're not even, they're not a party to. Like,
Mm,
we woke up one day and we saw this was happening all over the world and we have brothers
yeah,
and sisters there. So let's keep
absolutely.
praying for them and praying that God touches the heart of these leaders to think about the lives that are being lost over any political ambition or anything like that.
Absolutely. It's most
um,
unfortunate. I mean, war is not at all progressive.
at
Not at all
all,
progressive. Not
at
at all
all.
progressive. Anyway, our hearts goes out to the people of Ukraine.
Yeah.
Let's just hope that things subside. Right?
Yeah.
Let's just hope things subside. We have more people joining us. Hey Stella. Hey Stella, how are
Hi,
you?
Stella. Hi.
Right. Eno, you are a woman that I seriously admire.
Thank you, Mary.
I've come across a few of your posts. I know you also, host your own podcast. And today there's no better person to be talking to me on this topic, professional traction as an immigrant other than yourself. And that
Yeah.
is because you've done a lot of work with
Mm,
immigrants in Canada, and
yeah.
not just Canada, to be honest. You've actually, helped a lot of people
Mhm.
kickstart their business analysis career
Yes.
globally, almost 20,000 people. So just before we, kick things off properly, let me just read your bio to our audience so
Okay.
that they get to know more about you. Because, like I said, you are a young woman that I admire so much.
Thank
You've
you.
achieved so much in such a short while of being in Canada, and
Yeah.
it's good that we have a platform like this to be able to,
Yes.
showcase that. So let me tell our audience a little bit about you. Um, Changing careers can be daunting, even more so as an immigrant in an environment um, and new culture. Many immigrants are highly qualified but often lack clarity on how to navigate the culture and professional landscape to gain traction.
Yeah.
Eno Eka is a business analyst and change manager based in Calgary, Alberta. She's an award winning career coach and speaker who has been recognized for helping more than 20,000 professionals around the world kickstart their professional careers. In 3 years of arriving in Canada, Eno has touched the lives of thousands of immigrants to Canada. She has curated mentorship and coaching programs for immigrants to Canada, which has sought her recognition and awards globally. Eno is an embodiment of service as she volunteers with several non-profit organizations to help immigrants to Canada integrate successfully and become gainfully employed. Eno volunteers as a mentor with Calgary Region Immigrant Employment Council and sits on the board of the RIBA Calgary chapter as Director of Education. She also volunteers at the Calgary Drop-In Center and Calgary Dream Center. She is a giving back sponsor for the Women in Need Society. Her awards and achievements include Forbes 30 Under 30 nominee 2020 education category, Alberta Top 30 and Under 30 recipient 2021, and Calgary Top 40 Under 40 nominees 2019 and 2020. Now, Eno, that is a whole lot of stuff that you have achieved. Very, very impressive. You are welcome to Sincerely Agile with Mary.
Thank
Now,
you for
Eno, it's a pleasure to have you. We're talking about professional traction as an immigrant, but let us start with you. Let's start with you. Tell us about your journey to Canada because you're in Canada right now as we speak.
Yes.
So tell us about your journey. How did you end up in Canada? What motivated you to go to Canada? Let's hear that story.
Sure. Honestly, I wanted to come to Canada since I finished graduation. So after my first degree, Canada, one of the countries that I wanted to move to, Canada or the US. I was more drawn to Canada just because it's the land of immigrants, right? There's diversity, and you're able to. Canada was just more open to immigrants. So of course, as a new grad, I was looking out for scholarship opportunities and finding ways to come here. And then I just got a job and started working. Happy to get my first job and all of that. So I kind of put all of that on the back burner, and I'm like, what? Let me just even focus on even supporting my own sister, to even become a graduate and all of that. So I just started working and focused on growing my career back in Nigeria. And then some years after, I found, I was introduced to the express entry immigration program by government of Canada. So I thought it was one of those scams because there's so many scams out there.
Yeah.
And I saw that, the people are actually doing this and getting in there. And then my friend added me to a WhatsApp group and come join, see what's happening, see how people are doing it. People are getting in. So I'm okay. I joined the WhatsApp group and then okay, I think this thing is working because people here are saying, I just landed. I just got to Toronto. I just got to Vancouver. I'm like, okay, so I just applied, followed all the instructions and applied. And then in like a month, I got my visa and I'm like, I have a visa on my passport, a permanent residency visa, just like that. Right. And I'm like, okay. So
but was this a highly skilled migrant scheme? What was the scheme?
Okay. Have a degree, at least one degree. You need to have, years of experience, like at least 1 year of work experience. You need to have passed an English test. You need to have had, proof of funds. You need to show a lot of, professional growth, right? And also have the financial ability to sponsor yourself to make that journey. So, God's so kind, I was able to achieve that and move here. But even before I got here, I was so scared because I don't even know anybody here, no family, still have no family here. And I'm like, how am I going to do this? Because reality kicked in for me when I actually got the visa on my passport. And to be honest, I arrived Canada 3 days before the visa expired because I kept moving my ticket. Because I was so scared, and, LinkedIn was one of the platforms where I was able to connect with a lot of people, reaching out to people. So I'll go on LinkedIn, search for, people in Canada, business analysts, different.
Just random people.
Randomly. And
I'm
I'll just
coming
be
to
like,
Canada. Anybody out there?
I was messaging everybody. I'm like, my name is Eno. I'm in Nigeria. I'm coming and I see you're in Nigeria. And I'd like to ask you a few questions. I've heard so many things. I had colleagues who were telling me, oh, people are washing toilet there. People are suffering there. Are you sure you want to go there? It's very cold. And I'm like, I was so scared. I was moving my ticket. I was always moving my ticket. In fact, when I arrived in Canada, the border officer was like, you got your visa, sorry, like over 6 months ago. Why are you just arriving 3 days before your visa expires? I'm like, I don't know. I was scared. And he's like, Canada needs you. We need people like you. Welcome home.
Wow. We
And that's
need
what he
people
said.
like you.
Yes. And he asked me some question. I told him what I'd done so far in my career. And he's like, welcome home. Canada needs people like you. And I'm like, yes. I felt so at home and welcome. And then, getting in here, I started leveraging my network and, understanding the culture here. And, this is where I have come to grow my career. And it just seems like this is where I really now was able to find my purpose, because I realized that Canada does need me to help other immigrants who were lost in their journeys.
Wow. Now, that is an interesting story. To start with, you had nobody in Canada, no family. And I'm sure that was one of the reasons it took you so long after you got your visa to actually make that move. That fear of the unknown. No family to take me, no soft landing,
Nothing.
strange land, new culture. How the hell am I going to, survive? And then the weather, it's extremely cold. And you've heard, now this is the part I like. You've heard that people are washing toilets. Right? You've heard people are washing toilets, people are cleaning, all those negative stuff. And of
Yeah.
course, I'm sure there are people washing toilets. I'm sure there are people
Of
washing,
course.
cleaning the streets. And you
Yeah.
know what? Dignity in labor. Dignity in labor. And there's a reason I'm emphasizing on that. Because you see, just before we go any further, when we come into a country, any country as an immigrant,
Yeah.
yes, you may do all those jobs. You may clean, you may work as a shop assistant, you may work as a dustbin man. You will do anything to put food on the table, right?
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay,
Exactly.
dignity in labor. I keep saying that, dignity in labor. I mean,
Exactly.
I've worked as a shop assistant. I worked in a shoe shop for about 9 months. I worked as an administrative assistant with government institutions. I mean, these were jobs that I was overqualified for,
Of course.
right?
Yeah.
But of course, I needed to go out there and put food on the table and sort myself out until things can get better. So we can see those jobs as a stepping stone.
Exactly.
It is not a job for me or you to do for the next 30 years of our
Never.
lives.
Never.
Okay. And that is the whole point of the conversation we're having right here today,
Yeah.
professional traction.
Traction.
Because most of the time we come into these countries, we are qualified. In fact, we are
Over
overqualified.
qualified.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it breaks my heart when I see people who are overqualified. Okay. If all you can do is menial jobs, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you are overqualified, if you should be a professor in a university lecturing people, then I don't want to
Why
see you
not?
cleaning the toilet.
Exactly.
If you can be a business analyst, then I don't want to see you cleaning any floor. That is
Exactly.
the point we're making here. We're
Exactly.
not discriminating about any jobs. Like I said, I've been a sales assistant and all of that. So that is the conversation we're trying to have here today. And please tag your friends, tag your family members, those of you who have people in Canada. Eno is doing an amazing job. I didn't just invite her here to come and show us her beautiful teeth and makeup. We want her to come and tell us what she's doing and how people can also leverage her services
Yeah.
and her network so that they can step up if it is
Exactly.
what they are looking for. So
Exactly.
that was a beautiful story on how you got to Canada. Thank God your visa didn't expire. So how did your journey as a BA kick off? I know because I looked at your bio. You've been working as a business analyst from Nigeria. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so when I graduated school, I studied accounting, and I did work as an accountant after graduation, because that was my dream career, to be honest.
Okay.
I've always liked the numbers, and I did excellently well in accounting and those courses. I'm like, you know what, it's a perfect career for me. I mean, I'm always getting all A's here. I'm like the star of the class in this. I'll just go ahead in this career. And I enjoyed it till I graduated and started working as an accountant. But somewhere along the line, I fell out of love with this career path,
Right.
and that's okay. So if you're that person falling out of love with what you're doing right now, that's okay. So that happened to me pretty early in my career, and I'm kind of happy that happened. And I'm not, I didn't have to wait 20 years to realize that I wanted something more. I just felt it was pretty monotonous. It was kind of boring, because accounting back in Nigeria was still done, the old way of doing things. So I wanted to see how I could really leverage technology in doing things. Right? I wanted to see how I could automate things. I didn't want to do things the same thing every day because I was so bored with doing that. So where I was working, I started looking at ways to leverage technology, started introducing, how about we use this accounting software? How about we use this payroll software? How about we do this? Why are we paying staff in cash? Why don't we have a payroll system? Why don't we have, why don't we automate things? So, I was always that person who was trying to see how we could bring technology into everything that we did and how we could work smarter, right? So, and then looking for, something more, I started doing a lot of research, finding, other career paths that I could leverage. I was looking at HR, logistics and supply chain, you name it, project management, business analysis. So I went for different courses, to be honest. And I just wanted to also know, where I would find that, that passion. So I took all those different courses, and business analysis was it. And then when I concluded my business analysis course, I'm like, oh, I have been doing business analysis all this while, all the things I've been doing in my current role. And because I found that, oh, I've been doing business analysis, it wasn't about the job title, right? No. Because I started moving more into the project teams and helping the project teams with their work. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to really focus on this career path because it just came so natural to me. Nothing was forced or anything like that. I said, I'm going to get the certification. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to find ways to, put myself into every project I can find. And that's what I started doing. So
at what point did you do the certification? Were you still in Nigeria when you took the certification?
Oh, yeah, I was still in Nigeria.
Okay.
And then people were like, what are you doing? You're an accountant. Go and write your ICANN or your ACCA. What is business analysis? What is a CBAB? Like, what is that? Like, people were like, even my own parents were like, what are you doing? But thankfully, of course, I was able to financially support myself. So I'm like, you know what? I know this is not a popular career here in Nigeria, but I feel like it's going to be the next big thing. It's going to be something that people are going to look forward to, having people who have this skill. So I sponsored myself to get the course, get the certification. I went to Ghana to write the certification exam because they weren't even writing it in Nigeria at that time. So many challenges around that. And I just kept, doing that, finding ways to plug myself into the IIBA Nigeria, looking for other people who were BAs as well, leveraging LinkedIn again to grow my connection with BAs, and then always sharing what I was learning, what I was doing on LinkedIn. So I've always been that person who used LinkedIn to grow my network, to share what I'm doing, right? And it started opening up new opportunities for me. I started adding people into my network who were, BAs as well, and who were also pursuing the certification. And that opened up so many opportunities. I started interviewing for BA roles. I started getting called on to, to come consult on projects. All of that, started happening, because I was intentional about it. Yes, it wasn't a popular career path. Yes, it wasn't the fad in Nigeria at that time. It was either, you're a chartered accountant, that kind of thing. It was ACCA or CFA for you in finance. But, when I decided, and I was intentional that, I don't have to do what everybody's doing. I want to choose my own path. And that's how business analysis found me. And then when I moved to Canada, it was just like, when they say the floodgates open up, right? Because you're just like, oh, wow. Like, I've been so undervalued, like what I have.
Welcome home. That was why they said welcome home, because CBAB is a Canadian thing. In the UK here, I think it's a BCS. We call it, I think it's BCS in the UK and in Canada. So that was why they said welcome home.
Exactly.
They really needed people with that
Canada
skill.
was so far away. Like it was years and years after. I didn't even know that was going to happen.
Yeah.
But I was so focused on, getting this done and growing in this career path and learning the skills and just growing those skills. And, and when I got here, it was just like, okay, like you're in the place where you're wanted, where you're
really needed.
Exactly.
Where you're really, really needed. Amazing story. We really need to have what I call this experimental mindset, not to
Mm,
be afraid to try
great.
things. A lot of us are stuck in one spot because we are too afraid of the unknown. We
Exactly.
really need to take that leap of faith, experiment with stuff because, like you said, you did a few courses, and we must also be ready to spend money, right? Those courses didn't come cheap.
Of
So
course.
instead of maybe spending money on the things that don't add value to us, let us spend money on training and just experiment and see what we would really like. So i'm
Exactly.
really i'm really excited that you took that part because you have done a whole lot of stuff, a
Yes,
whole
and
lot
I
of
always say
amazing stuff.
something, Mary.
Yeah.
I tell people always bet on yourself.
Bet on
Always
yourself.
bet on yourself.
Absolutely.
That's the surest bet is to bet on yourself. Don't expect people to bet on you. Bet on
They will
yourself.
tell you can't do it. They will
Oh
tell you
yeah,
don't do
all the
it,
time.
because they are not doing it. So why would they encourage you to do it? Okay. I
Yeah,
mean, one of the things you and I have in common is that we do similar things, except that you are on the BA track, I'm on the agile track. But
yeah.
of course, I'm sure you do a bit of agility as well, because
Oh
a lot
yeah,
of
we
what
do.
you do
Yeah,
a lot of that as well. And what I also do is I'm encouraging people to come into the agile space. Okay,
yeah.
telling people, you know what, you can do this too. If I can do it, you can do it too. And then, more importantly, we need more diversity in these spaces.
Exactly,
We need
exactly,
more diversity in these spaces.
exactly.
Now, this is an interesting one coming up for me. In such a short period, you have not only achieved so much for yourself, but have imparted and impacted lives. What drives Eno? Because you see, what you have, I really want people to listen to you and be really motivated, and for them to know that it's not where we are, it's who we are. It's not
Exactly,
about the location. Okay.
exactly.
You already started this journey in Nigeria,
Yes.
and then found yourself in an environment where, I mean, the land was just green, right? It was enabling. You got to the airport, they said welcome home. But this
Yes.
this was simply because you had prepared yourself for that opportunity.
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
were prepared.
I
Okay.
was prepared.
You were prepared. What drives you, Ena? Because you have achieved so much. You've helped so many people
Mm,
get, on their professional track. We're talking about jobs of $100,000. We're not talking about
mm,
$40,000 job.
exactly.
Six figure, six
Yeah.
figure job. So tell us, what drives you? Why did you decide to, just start helping immigrants in Canada? What,
Yeah.
what prompted that?
Honestly, when I got here, like, and just like everybody else, when you come here, you're trying to, fight for yourself, right? Trying to get a job and all. Everybody's trying to find something for themselves. And like you said, I was prepared. I didn't know the preparation I was doing was going to help me when I got here. But in no time, so quickly, I got a job in like 2 weeks of arriving here, and then in 6 months again, I changed my job again, and then I landed a six-figure job, just like
And we
that.
are not talking about cleaning jobs, oh.
No, not not. So it was like a lot of people. You know how the communities here are really close knit, and then there are a lot of communities for immigrants, especially like Nigerians as well, different communities like that, professional communities as well. And then people were reaching out and saying, how are you able to do this? And people were opening up to me. I was a manager back in Nigeria, but look at me, I'm a security guard here. Somebody reaches out to me and say, I was a senior manager and a KPMG, but look at me, I'm working in the call center. This, and I'm like, what? Really? You mean you're a security guard and you were a manager in a bank in Nigeria? I know the status of a manager in a bank in Nigeria. And I'm like, wow. And then I started talking to more people and realized that a lot of them were actually overqualified for the roles they were in.
Yeah.
In fact, in the building where I worked, the security guys there were Nigerians. And then I was talking to them and they were all professionals from back home, but they struggled to find professional careers and they had to put food on the table, like you said. So
Of
they took up
course.
all those roles. And when I also got here, I went to some immigrant settlement agencies that they had here. But a lot of them, I was like, I'm a business analyst. Here's my resume. And she's like, oh, I don't see any improvements to your resume. Everything looks good. I'll send you some job opportunities as they come. Check out my emails every morning. And I kept getting, opportunities like warehouse opportunities, store packing opportunities.
Amazon.
Exactly. Those were the popular roles that they were
Amazon.
sending to me as a professional immigrant. So I'm like, okay, I think there is a disconnect somewhere. There's a reason why professional immigrants move here and are struggling. they're not getting that help. So I started organizing, resume review sessions, interview prep sessions. I'll tell people, there's an opportunity here, apply to this role, send your resume out, review it. This is how you should get your LinkedIn done. This is how you should communicate with recruiters and all of that. So I started, providing all this guidance for all of these people. And I said, okay, there's this opportunity here. I'll refer you to the recruiter. This is what you need to do. You already have this experience. You just need to make sure you translate it to how it's supposed to be,
transferable
the
skills.
Canadian standard and all of that. So I focused on really just helping people, because I was so heartbroken realizing that a lot of, my people, that look like me, talk like me, are struggling to get back into this role.
And they are overqualified.
And then this person comes, I got a job. This person said, I got a job. This person, I'm like, okay, now help other people. Do the same.
Exactly.
Refer people into your companies. Help them with their resumes. Do all of this. And I just really focused on, saying, you know what? Helping these people, they'll be able to support their families back home. They'll be able to live a good life. They won't struggle. And of course, they have more disposable income. They'll pay their taxes, all of that. And I'm like, you know what? We need that diversity, first of all, but we also need that financial power. It is important, right? It is very important for us to actually make good money and not just, do any kind of job just to get an income. So I really focus on telling them, don't also think small. Because you feel like you're new here doesn't mean you can't still apply for a senior position, right? So encouraging people and telling them you can do it, find experience, volunteer. These are the things you can do to start gaining this Canadian experience.
Absolutely.
So because I saw the pain and the struggle that a lot of immigrants had, I'm like, you know what, this is something that I have to take upon myself and help these people, land this job. So, seeing the immigrant community here and the struggles people had, it really drove me. Yeah.
You've touched on two important things there. When you come into a new environment, we need to ask questions. We need to do a lot of research, okay? But I guess, when you come into the system, you need to quickly find something to do. And by the time you start working 9 to 5 in that cold environment, you get back home, you are knackered and things like that. But we really need to ask questions. And then another thing that we must leverage, which over time now has gotten better. Because even here in the UK, I keep saying when I started my business as a businesswoman, I didn't find any community. I mean, this was like 20 years ago. I didn't find a community to sort of, key into, so to speak.
Yes.
And I've always said that outside of Nigeria, our communities are not strong enough outside of Nigeria. And as a result, a lot of Nigerians, let me be more specific now, I'm talking about Nigerians now. A lot of Nigerians have, found themselves in roles that they are overqualified for because we don't have that strong community where you can see Peter, who is working with, NatWest Bank, that can tell you, oh, I work in NatWest Bank. I work as a business analyst or as a project manager. That community where we could share information wasn't there. But it is getting better now. I guess we just didn't have that inclination that, we could recruit more people into places where we're working and stuff like that. I mean, I say the Asians do it. They have a very strong community.
They do.
And they have a very, very strong community. They help each other out when it comes to all this professional track. But I'm happy to see that it is happening now with us Africans. And technology has also enabled that. We are creating communities of professionals where we are training each other. We are helping each other with our CVs and LinkedIn profile. You're doing it, I'm doing it. There are several other Nigerians that are doing it. And it is just amazing to see. And that is why we're having this conversation also, so that people who don't know will know. You see where I'm coming from? You know that you may start off your life in another country with a low-paying job, but you don't have to get stuck in it. You can retrain. You can, acquire a whole lot of skills and, upgrade yourself. It is so, so, so important. So I can see that you've worked with several NGOs. So are there NGOs where, that are actually helping people into professional track, not just these warehouse jobs you're talking about that you're working with?
Yes, absolutely. So I work with the CRIEC, right? So it's a Calgary Region of Immigrants Employment Council. And what we do there is, as a mentor, I'm paired with people, who want to get into the career path like
Mm,
business analysis or agile or project management. I'm
mm,
paired with them and I support them with their resumes, their
mm,
LinkedIn, coaching them for interviews, teaching them how to network and all of that. So Craig is focused on, matching immigrants with mentors as
mm-hmm.
well. And then also with the IIBA Calgary chapter, I tell people if you want to work in a particular industry, join the association. They always have
Right.
associations you can join and resource groups. So with the IIBA, we provide free study groups for people who want to get certified,
Mm-hmm.
provide mentorship as well. We match them with people who are senior business analysts
Mm-hmm.
and managers, and then they have some weeks they spend with their mentor where they learn with their mentors. And then we also provide guidance for them to get certified and recertified and all of
Mm-hmm.
that. So these organizations help immigrants and everyone who is interested in trying to get into their career path. I tell people
Mm.
finding mentors is so important
So
when you get
important. Yeah.
learning
Yeah.
directly from people. Like I tell people, I said, for me, all I needed was confirmation. I was scared, right, about this career path. But getting on LinkedIn and seeing all these people who are doing amazing things and connecting with them, they gave me that confirmation that, if they could do it, I could
I
do it
can do it
also.
too. Yeah.
So that's why I believe
Absolutely.
in mentorship a lot. And that's why, I'm mentor with Craig. And then
Mm.
also, we have that mentorship program with the IIBA.
Mm.
There's so many other organizations that provide this too.
Absolutely. I mean, I like what Stella is saying here, though, but the problem is those who feel entitled in terms of help and support. I mean,
Yeah,
there are NGOs out there, there are people out there who will give of their time. For example, I mean, I give 30 minutes of my time here and there to mentor people, or
yeah.
people who just have some questions, they want to find out more about Agile. I book
Mhm.
the odd 30-minute session here and there. But
Yeah.
it is also important for our people to know that you have to save money and invest in yourself.
Of course, absolutely.
You have to save money if you mean business, and you
Hmm.
really want to upgrade yourself, and you want to really
Yeah,
pursue a career in terms of a professional track, because all these
yeah.
certifications you're talking about, it's not just one certification.
Oh no.
It's not one. There are several certifications you have to take,
Several,
and
several.
you need to pay for it. They don't come cheap.
Exactly.
So it's about you prioritizing what is important to you.
Exactly.
It is about prioritizing,
Who's
because
prioritizing? I did this in
um
Nigeria and they're all in
exactly.
dollars. You know this, Mary. They're
It is
all
in
in dollars,
dollars.
right?
It is in
And I did this
dollars.
when I was working in Nigeria. So I tell people, I say, you don't have any
You
excuse.
have no
You
excuse,
have to
especially when
pay.
you are earning the dollars, right? You have no excuse.
Exactly, when you're earning it compared to people who are earning in naira, saving
Yeah,
naira, to pay for this certification and get certified or take the
yeah,
trainings and the courses,
absolutely.
flying all the way to Ghana to take a certification exam, not like I was already, not like, oh, a company is paying for me to do all of that. This was me just betting on
That was
myself.
sponsored. Yeah, you sponsored yourself. I
Yeah,
mean, you were. I mean, you were definitely really focused. You knew what you wanted, and you
yeah,
knew that you needed to invest in yourself. And it's very important that people understand that spending money on training is an investment,
it
and you
is.
will have your return on investment. There's no
The
two way
return.
about it. You will have the return on investment. And we must also remind ourselves, Eno, that we are now currently in the knowledge economy.
Exactly.
We are in the knowledge economy. Look, the internet is a good thing. Social media is a good thing, but please, some people are getting lost on it. Some people are getting lost on this social media thing, whereas
Mhm.
the internet is there for us to actually leverage for learning also. There's
Yeah,
nothing wrong in using social media, whichever way you use it. But
yeah.
are you using the internet? Are
Hmm.
you using it to leverage the learning that is made available to us? That is another
Exactly.
thing. Because I also say, it's true that we have to spend money, but there's so much online that we can leverage without even spending money just yet.
True, true, exactly. And that's a good starting point.
It's a
That's
good
a good
starting
starting
point.
point, at least to get to that level of awareness,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
once you're aware, like, okay, now I know I need more. Now I can take a training or I could get some
Exactly.
coaching, right? Because that level of awareness has to be there. And like I
Hmm.
say, it's okay for you to try different things out and then
Yeah.
find what sticks. And then once you know that this is where what I want to do, where I want to be, go for it. And the ROI on investing in yourself, Mary,
Hmm.
it's not something, in accounting, we would say, oh, it's 10% or 50%. But
Yes.
honestly, it's infinite percent.
I know.
Because all the monies I invested in myself years ago till date, I'm still reaping it. That's the truth. It
Absolutely.
never goes away because
Absolutely.
it's inside of me. Nobody
It,
can take it from me.
nobody can take it from you. It's a knowledge economy. I mean, talking about, the return on investment. I mean, I work as an agile coach, and
Yeah.
I can categorically tell you right here, right now, that organizations are struggling to
Mm.
fill up roles in the agile
Yes.
space.
Yes.
Organizations are struggling to fill up roles. So
Mm.
what does that tell you? People are not skilling up fast enough. And
Mm.
what does that also tell us again? That there are opportunities out there.
There are. There are. There
There
are.
are opportunities out there. We live in an environment today where everything is digital, everything is
Mm-hmm.
driven by
Mm-hmm.
software, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there are a lot of projects out there on digital transformation, project management, but we do not have enough people with the right skills to take on these
We're
roles.
having the same problem in North America too, right? There's so many jobs, but not enough people, right? And that's why I tell people, I say you have to move with the time, right?
Yeah,
If you
yeah,
see that tech skills is what's it for your industry, get in there.
get in there.
Don't wait for your company to pay for you to take a certification or take a training. Do it for yourself. Do it for yourself. And we're having that same challenge as well in the tech industry in North America. So many jobs, so little people applying.
Absolutely. I like what Stella is also saying here. Return on investment works when you
Action.
action. Absolutely. I know
Exactly.
plenty of people who have spent thousands with not. You see, it's one thing for you to take training. It's another thing for you to perhaps take the action, like you're saying, Stella, to,
Implement.
to
Yeah,
go to go and implement and perhaps go and volunteer somewhere. Because
exactly.
otherwise, within a matter of 3 or 6 months, you've forgotten everything you've learned if you have not,
Exactly.
found the opportunity to implement or to apply that. So that is really, really important.
Mm-hmm.
Now, no, let's go back to Canada. The IIBA, is it? It's IIBA, right? It's
Yes,
a
yes,
body. It's a global body, and that is
exactly.
the certification you have taken, right?
Yes.
So, if someone is watching here today and they are based in Canada and they
Mm-hmm.
want to take that path, what will be your advice?
So when it comes to getting the IIBA certification,
Hmm.
I love how the certification process is structured because regardless of years of experience, you can still get certified.
Okay.
So if you have 0 to 1 year of work experience, you can take the entry level certification, relevant experience related to business analysis. If you have 2 to 3 years of work experience, around 2 to 4 years, ideally, you can take the CCBA, which is that competency level. And then
Hmm.
we have the professional level. So if you have more than 5 years of work experience, you can take the CBAP certification, the professional level. And taking the certification just requires you taking a training with an endorsed education provider, getting the required professional hours, applying, getting approved, studying, and passing the certification exam. Super easy to get the certification. Of course, it takes preparation. You have
Hmm.
to pay application fees and certification fees as well. The IBA does some, promotions sometimes on their certification fees. And then, of course, there are so many endorsed education providers. Business Analysis School is an education provider, so you can take the certification training with us. But more importantly, it's really
Yeah.
about the experience you have. Certifications are definitely a plus. They
Hmm.
validate your experience, your knowledge. They help you negotiate better salaries. They help you get promotion. They help you get seen faster by hiring managers and recruiters. However, your experience is what really counts. Like I shared earlier, even in my accounting role, I was already carrying out business activities. I was
Exactly.
improving the process, recommending solutions, technologies, working with the vendors that were going to implement those technologies, right? Documenting all of that. And those were things that I could leverage to get me started in my BA career. So right now, start writing down all the things you do that relate to business analysis. How are you
Hmm.
helping the company to increase revenue? How are you helping them to save time? How are you helping them to increase their profit? How are you helping them to improve business processes? How are you helping them to serve their customers, keeping customers satisfied? How are you helping them to leverage technology? How are you helping them to stay competitive? All these things you're doing at work are BA activities. And it
Hmm.
starts from, documenting them, on your resume and on your LinkedIn profile as well.
And that's such an important point because there's a whole lot that people are already doing that
doing.
falls in that domain of business analysis,
Exactly.
even though their role may not be tagged as business analysis. I mean, if
Exactly.
you're in customer services, you're doing a lot of business analysis
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, in customer services, you are the customer facing department. You
Mm-hmm.
know all their pain points,
Mm-hmm.
right? You know their pain points. You know how to perhaps make them happy and satisfy them. You know
Exactly.
how to log their errors and then go and do some research on, okay, why are we having these problems with this
Mm-hmm.
customer segment.
Yeah.
All those stuff are business analysis stuff. So these, like Stella was saying, these are transferable skills.
Skills.
But we often think, oh, we want to go into business analysis, I have to start from ground zero.
Yeah.
No, you don't
You
have to
don't.
start from ground zero. You have a lot of experience that you need to perhaps just find better ways of rewarding them on your CV
Exactly.
in order for you to push yourself forward.
Exactly.
Just looking at more comments from our audience. It's about identifying pain points and how you can solve them. Yeah, this is what
Mm-hmm.
also needs to be demonstrated on CVs and resumes. Absolutely,
Exactly.
Stella. Absolutely,
Exactly. Thanks,
Stella.
Bella.
Yeah. Now, with COVID, would you even say there are more job opportunities
Oh yeah.
in the
Oh
business
yeah.
analysis
Oh
track?
yeah. We have more jobs right now than people available to actually take on the BA roles. And this is
Wow.
not just in the UK, in the US, in Canada,
It's
and
everywhere.
I hear it's everywhere, right?
It's
And
everywhere.
then, I was watching one of your sessions where I can't remember her name, but what she said, COVID has forced companies to become agile, right? I
Yeah.
can't remember her name, but she was a guest
I
on your
think I
show.
think it was Sally Lata that COVID has given agility, has given leadership
Exactly.
a boot camp
Exactly.
in
Yes, she said it was
agility,
a boot camp,
a boot camp in
a mini
agility.
course, a crash course
It was a
on
crash course. Yeah,
agility. And that's
yeah.
what has happened with a lot of companies too.
Mm,
They weren't
mm,
prepared for what happened with
mm-hmm.
the pandemic and COVID. And because of that, companies that also didn't prioritize technology or having BAs right now realize that we need business analysts to actually help us to implement new technology, upgrade our technology systems, and also help us plan for the future. So
Absolutely.
there is huge, huge, huge demand for business
There's a lot of
analysts.
work. There's a
Yeah,
lot of work
yeah,
because a lot of organizations still have their legacy systems,
systems.
and
Yeah,
they need to upgrade their legacy systems. And in
yeah,
order for them to upgrade their legacy systems, they need business analysts to
they
look at the
do.
assist and their current reality in terms of their way of running their businesses and their
Yeah,
infrastructure and everything, and
yeah,
then to now look at how they can improve that system and
exactly,
better serve their customers. So there's a
exactly.
lot of work there to do. And then another thing that I find, when we talk about business analysis, Scrum Master, product owner, people are scared because people
Aw,
think it's a techie role.
no, I am
Pe-
an accountant.
People think it's, oh, I'm not
Former
I don't know
accountant.
anything about technology. That's not my space at all. I'm not a techie.
Mm,
You don't have to be a techie. You don't have to be a geek to
no,
be a business analyst.
no, not
You
at
don't
all.
have to be a geek to be an agilist in any
No, you don't
shape
need to
or
write
form.
code or
You
anything
don't need
like
to
that.
write code. You don't need to be
No,
a programmer. So
no,
please don't shy away from these job roles. These are amazing roles where you can really apply yourself as someone who can solve problems, someone who can analyze a situation and think of a
exactly.
better solution.
Listen,
It's
yeah.
about problem solving, it's
Problem
about finding the
solving,
right solutions to help.
communication.
That's all it is. It's not
Yeah,
technologically oriented at all. But
yeah.
you will be working in a technology environment.
Environment.
The programmers are there. You are not the programmer, but you are the
Exactly.
one looking at the business side. So, as a business
Exactly.
analyst, you are actually interfacing with the business side to gather
Exactly.
requirements, okay?
Yes.
To
Yeah.
gather requirements to say, how can we better serve our customers and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. So it
Yeah.
is not at all technical, and we don't want people to shy away from
Please
this.
don't shy away.
Don't
You
shy
don't need to
away.
be
Don't shy
technical.
away. Don't shy away. And you know what? We are saying this because we really want more diversity in this space. By the
Yeah.
grace of God, we have found our way there. We earn, good wages as agilists and as business analysts and
Yeah.
change managers. We also want more diversity. We want more people
Yeah.
that look like you and I to come into this space. And
Mm-hmm.
if you are already a business analyst, if you are already an agilist, don't keep it to yourself.
Mm-mm.
Don't keep it to yourself. Look at what
No.
Eno did. She got into Canada and realized that she was prepared and started to see her people. Let me put it that way. She started to see her people who had been there for a very
Yeah.
long time, who had worked as managers in Nigeria or Africa, wherever, and had now gone from here to there. Okay,
Mm.
because they didn't have a community to tap into,
Yeah,
because there was
exactly.
nobody to guide or mentor them.
Exactly.
Now, since doing what you've been doing, for crying out loud, how many people, give us a rough idea, how many people have you actually helped into a BA role? Roughly.
Honestly,
You've lost
it's
count.
I can't count. It's in thousands,
You
right?
see?
It's in thousands because of all the things that we do with regards to giving people, free trainings, having free webinar sessions, giving people
Hmm.
access to free Scrum training, free BA training, working with all these organizations as well that invite me to speak to people and teach them, about business analysis, product management, Scrum,
Hmm.
and all of that. So, it's thousands of people.
You've lost count, and that
Oh
is
yes.
simply because you took that initiative
Oh yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
say, you know what, I want to do this.
I
I
get
want to
people
do
reach
this.
out to me from Asia and like, oh,
Yeah,
this, just following your training and the free resources you put out there help me to get into a bureau, help me to secure this position, help me to negotiate.
yeah.
All of that, so it's just putting the word out there and not keeping it to yourself. And
Not
then when we
keeping
talk
it to
about
yourself.
diversity, it's really about sharing, like
It's
what
about
you're doing,
sharing.
Mary, like what
It's
I'm doing. When I got
absolutely.
into my first tech role, I realized there weren't a lot of white black people. I was the only white
Yeah,
person in my team. I was the only
yeah.
white person in my local
Mm,
office. And I'm like, no. So when I see opportunities, I go into the groups and say, please share this. Tell them to send me
exactly.
their resumes. This is my official email. I'll review their resumes, give them feedback, prep them for the interviews, get them into the company. I was
Mm,
doing this so much that we had like over 10 Nigerians in that company in the space of about 6 months.
fantastic.
Just the point that when managers wanted to hire, they would send me a chat on Teams and say, I'm hiring for this new role. I'm putting it out there now, but I know you don't always have like candidates. So feel free to send me resumes and things.
Exactly the same thing happening to me. I have people reach out to me on LinkedIn, say, "Oh, Mary, we know you have a community. We need a Scrum Master." Things like that.
Yeah,
I have people reach out to me to say, "Do you have anyone that's that you
yeah,
can put forward for a role?" And I have put
yeah,
a few people forward. I mean,
yeah.
I started Scrum Master training about 4 years ago now, and so far
Mhm,
I have placed about 13 people in Scrum
mhm,
Master roles. I mean,
yeah.
these are people whose lives have changed now.
Of course.
Their lives
Yeah,
have changed for good. They are
yeah,
in well-paid jobs, and they are also
yeah,
encouraging other people now.
yeah.
And this is where the scaling comes in. This is where the scaling comes in. So imagine Eno has empowered 1,000 Africans, for argument's sake, and then those 1,000 people now also tell another thousand and
Thousand
another
people.
thousand and another thousand.
Exactly.
That is all about scaling. It's not about you getting that good job and then just keeping quiet. And we need to pay it forward.
You need to pay forward. You
We
need
need to
to
pay
do
it
that.
forward. We
You
need
need
to
to
pay it
do that.
forward. That is
You need to
essentially
do
what I'm
that.
trying to say. So,
And
what
community
more?
is so key. So, so key.
Community is key. Community is
Yeah.
key. I
Yeah.
have a community. You have a community. There are so many people out there, with the community. And then another thing I say to people is that once you think you are strong enough and you can also start training people, please go and form your own community, because
Exactly.
everybody would have their own sphere of influence, if you see what I
Yeah.
mean. And
Yeah.
if we really want to bring diversity to all these spaces, then we need to encourage more people to go out there once they feel comfortable enough
Yeah.
to be able to teach other people and mentor
Mm-hmm.
them to
Mm-hmm.
also do the same, because it is through communities that we
Yeah.
can scale and reach out to more people to come
Yeah.
into this space. Okay, so we've been talking about the things we do and the things other people in the communities can do. But generally,
Mm.
what more can we do to bring more diversity into well-paid professional tracks? What more can we do as people
Yeah.
of color? Because, like
Exactly.
I said before, for a long time we didn't have strong communities, but it is getting better now. We are very individualistic in our ways outside of our
Mm-hmm.
country. Very,
Yes.
this one is doing their thing, that one's doing their
Yeah.
thing, but it makes us weaker. We are
Yeah.
not stronger. We are not better for it.
Exactly.
We're not better for it.
Exactly.
So I think now people are beginning to see the benefits of, being a
Mhm.
part of a community. So
Yeah.
what else can we do to make this community stronger, to advocate for more people to come in and get more
Mhm.
people to actually come in? I mean, we've done a bit of it here today, but what else?
Yes, absolutely. So, everything that we've shared with, sharing the word, about, the beauty of our profession and how helping other people get in, paying it forward,
Mm,
even in your organization, creating, resource groups, right? That's something that I was a part of. One of my organizations is
yeah.
creating a resource group for Black people, for example,
Mm,
Hispanic people, Latino people, wherever you come from, creating that resource group and helping people to grow in their careers and bringing more people in,
mm.
right? Organizing seminars like this, communities like this, creating those platforms, right? And then amplifying, the work that we're doing, right? So it's one thing to be doing an amazing job somewhere and nobody's amplifying, nobody's sharing about it. So
Which
amplifying.
which is why you're here today, because I
Yes,
wanted the world to see the amazing job you've been doing in Canada, because you've
yes,
done so
amplifying the work
well.
that we do and stop being individualistic, like you said. There are people I reached out to that didn't even respond to me, right? That wouldn't even, try to help me, right? So we want to actually, say no to that and say
Hmm.
yes to supporting people,
Yeah.
empowering people, finding ways to empower people, right? And also, I always believe that, I don't need to wait for anyone to, give me a seat at the table. We'll create our own
You
table.
create our own
We
tables,
create
yeah.
our own table where we
Mm,
bring in our own people, we
yeah.
support them, we help them, we train them, and of course they go out and do amazing things. So finding ways to do this, and I'm always passionate about helping communities here or organizations here that are doing that for for immigrants, right? Doing that
Hmm.
for Black people or people of color, because
Hmm.
we can't say this enough. We are not really seeing that diversity.
It's
It's
not
be-
enough.
yeah, has become just like a buzzword. We want to really see that with women in leadership, with Black people in leadership, people of color in leadership, supporting them, training them,
Hmm.
and providing them with everything that they need to succeed in their careers. That is so 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 important. In our community, and that's how we can really drive diversity. And then, of course, we also need to actually teach people about us and our culture. Wherever I go, I'm proud to say I'm a Black person, I'm
Hmm.
immigrant, this is who I am, and I tell
Hmm.
them the amazing thing about Nigeria and Africa,
Yeah.
and I educate them and tell them, don't see us as illiterates, don't see us as people who are
We're
refugees.
not.
We're well trained. We actually came here legally and we're doing amazing things back home, and
Hmm.
we're here to continue those amazing things here. So don't be
Absolutely.
scared to actually educate other people as well about the rich culture we have, and also don't be scared to actually say, what, I'm going for it. I'm going to apply for this senior manager position or this director position, and I don't care if I don't see any Black person there. I'm going to be the first.
The worst that would happen is you won't get the job.
Oh yeah,
So one of
absolutely.
the things we must be doing now is actually going for those highly paid jobs. Prep
Exactly.
yourself, do all the training that you need to do. Ask for help. Like we've just said, there are so many communities out there right now. And if you reach out and you ask, somebody will respond. There will
Yeah.
be somebody that will spend 30 minutes or 1 hour with
Mm-hmm.
you to
Mm-hmm.
help you look at your CV, to say,
Yeah.
okay, you know what, I'll prep you for 1 hour. Go for the interview and, try your luck, like we say. Try your luck. It's either
Yeah.
you get it or you don't. But we must
Yes.
try, because for you to
Mm-hmm.
even have the opportunity, you first have to apply, right? And to be
Exactly.
shortlisted. And then if you are called for the interview, who knows? You just might get the
Yeah.
role. As long
Yeah.
as you have prepped for it, you've done all the certifications that is required.
Yeah.
Now, all good, but I feel, on an individual basis, I mean, we have communities, we must also try and reach out to people. If you
Exactly.
hear, if there's a vacancy where you are, reach out to a community and say, you know what, there's a vacancy where I'm working. It
Exactly.
doesn't disturb what you're doing.
Exactly.
It does not disturb what you're doing. There's a vacancy I mean, I did that recently. There's a vacancy where I am, and
Mm.
I reached out to my community, and someone from my community, got the job. So we
Exactly.
need to do more of that. There's nothing, there's nothing to be afraid of.
Oh yeah.
We really need to do more of that. Let's see, do we have any more questions? So I know you started a school. Tell us more about that. Now, this young woman here has done a whole lot. She even started a business analysis school, and here is the website. She started a business analysis school. This young woman here, she's had, she's achieved so many things. She's been awarded so many awards. On the 30, on the 40, Forbes, she's been, featured in Forbes on the 30. For a
Mm,
young woman, honestly, I really admire you. And
thank you.
you're a role model for a lot of our, young girls who are
Yeah.
also perhaps in Canada or are thinking of, going to Canada, that
Mm,
it can be done. You
yeah.
don't have to go to Canada and be a cleaner.
No.
Okay.
No.
You don't have to go to Canada and be a security man for the rest of your life. No.
No.
You may start as a security man. There's nothing wrong with that. Please don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong in doing security job for 1 year, 8 months, whatever, just to, that stepping stone, just to put,
Yes.
bring the bacon home, like we say. But while you're doing that, have
Yeah.
your eye on that bigger goal. You
Mm-hmm.
start training. And one of the things we have said on this platform is that you don't have to spend money immediately.
Mm-hmm.
The resources online are unbelievable and they are free. To start
Yes.
with, it won't get you to your
Start.
destination. But
Yeah.
to kick you off, there's enough on YouTube, there's enough on Google. Like you said, even you run a lot of free webinars. For
Yeah.
those who want to be Scrum Masters or Agile coaches, we also have a lot of free resources on YouTube, you
Yes.
see. So
Yeah.
please leverage that. So, parting thoughts, what would you tell our audience or anyone, watching this replay? What would you tell them if they want to get on that
Yeah.
professional track? What is that one main advice you will give them?
Yeah, for anyone, who wants to get back on your professional track, say, you find yourself, like Mary said, stuck in a role where you know that you're overqualified for. I would say, you know, first of all is the mindset. Have that mindset and remember, who you are, the value that you bring to the table. Document everything that you've done that are accomplishment. Find people in those positions you want to be at. Reach out to them politely, seek mentorship, right? If there are opportunities for you to get mentors, do that. If you can afford to get their coaching, do that as well. Look out for those opportunities where you can actually apply for scholarships. If you can, do that as well. If your profession is a regulated profession, get the right certification and the right training, and then put yourself out there. Build a network. It's so important to build a network. And of course, make sure that you also have that mindset of service, right?
Mhm.
Volunteering is very important. I volunteered, I still volunteer, and that has opened so many doors for me that if I start talk about how volunteering has helped me so far in my career, we wouldn't even leave here for the next hour. Be open to serve, right? Serve, volunteer, and then reach out to people that can support you, build your network. Don't be scared. Use LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a
That's
fantastic
it.
way to build your community, to build your network. Find ways to do that. Join also other communities, maybe on Clubhouse or Twitter Spaces. And then of course fill your mind with positivity as well. And like Mary said, start to always continuously improve yourself. I believe in continuous development. Don't
Yep.
stop where you are. There's YouTube, there's Google, there's free courses, there's paid courses. Just keep going. Remember, the more you learn, the more you earn. If you're interested in business analysis, project management, product management, reach out to businessanalysis.school.com. We have free courses, we have paid courses as well that you can take advantage of. Thank you so much,
Absolutely.
Mary.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And our audience are saying, a big thank you to you. Thank you for
Thank you.
spending your
Thank you,
Sunday with
Stella.
us on
Thank you, Yemi.
Sincerely Agile with Mary. And to our audience, as always, thank you for, being here. Next week, we have Anu Gopal, and she's coming to talk about agility in
Fantastic
Africa.
woman.
Yes, she's coming to talk about agility in Africa and how she has an NGO and she's also training girls in tech. We have a
Fantastic.
lot of work to do, and I love what is happening in this space. I love what you're doing.
Exactly.
I love what
Anu.
Anu is doing. I love a
Yeah.
whole lot of us. I like the mindset that we're demonstrating here, and that is the way forward. Like we say,
Forward.
the skies are wide enough for the birds to
Oh
fly.
yeah. Oh
My
yeah.
success will not disturb your success. Yours will not disturb
Exactly.
mine. We shouldn't be afraid to lift each other up. we
Mm-hmm.
should, bring those, opportunities to our
Yeah.
communities. And if as an individual, you don't even have to be a community leader. As an individual, you know of something good going somewhere, call a friend. Don't
Exactly.
it shouldn't only be when we want to do our be that we are calling each other. We need
Exactly. Pull people up.
pull
Yeah.
people up. It shouldn't
Yeah.
just be, oh, I have Ashwebi, I want to sell Ashwebi, my father has died, or my daughter is getting married. That is when I remember I have a friend. When
Yeah.
there are opportunities, call on your friends. So
Exactly.
anyway, Eno, thank you so much. This is where I need to draw the curtain. I like to keep to time.
Thank
To
you.
our
Thank you,
audience, thank you so
Mary.
much, everybody.
Thank you,
Thank you so much.
everyone.
See you same time, same place next Sunday. Bye bye.
Bye.